Here.
Brian Richardson. Terry Powell. Paula Skelton.
Here.
Betsy Richardson. Here. Lane Sanders. James Parchman.
Here.
Philip Powell.
Everybody got an opportunity to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
You might want to, remind everybody that we're on, we're on the screen live stream on. So,
Does everybody have a minute to look at the minutes from the last meeting? So we are. Second,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Going on to the new business, elect new business.
Yes, at this time, we will be electing new officials. I will entertain motions to elect the new officials, or if someone would like to keep them the same, I just need a motion.
I make a motion and Paul also made the second. Yeah, same, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm gonna turn the meeting back over to Mr. Clark.
Going on to the next order of business, Otis Everett, requesting property located at 442 East Main Street here. The name from commercial to residential.
Only, what the zoning ordinance says about C2. I just saw Mr. Kelly, and, for those, I can walk through where you want to. Everything from the corner, building here across the street from the voting place, all the way past Hickerson's old grocery or the baker shop as it is now. On this side of Main Street is zone C2. Now, if anybody wants to see that on the map, I can show you that. On this paper that I give each of you,
Question. Say zone 2, did we do zone 1 for you? Over for the house?
We did, and if you would like to clarify, I think that was done because it joined C1. So we did change
His
mine.
was C2, just like these.
Right.
All right, C1 is what the square is. All right, you refrain from spot zoning. That gets the checkerboard effect if it goes on long enough. But C1 at the voting place now, the old Farm Bureau, and all things separate, there's nothing else between that but that street. You remember us talking about it? And we didn't reclassify it residential. We made it even stricter C1, where you can have a business downstairs and maybe a living quarters upstairs, just like what's down overhead of us all the way down the corner.
But we did do the house up on the courthouse. They did that to a resident, from commercial to resident property.
That was all residential. It touched the commercial C1. It was a business itself. So that's what the spot zoning, it wasn't in the middle of the residential, it was touching the commercial. And then they went out of business, they wanted to live in it, move here and live in it, so that's why it was changed back to residential, where they could live in it as a home. So, you know,
My other question is, when the woman brought that beauty shop down there, she was allowed to live in it because the owner could live in it, right?
that's part of the story, but not all the story. The rest of the story was, nobody even knew the beauty shop, the old barber shop, beauty shop across the creek here.
Right.
Nobody even knew it for sale, didn't see no for sale signs or anything. And I don't know how the former owner of the beauty shop, and this lady that bought it, came together. It's none of my business. But the lady that wound up paying cash for it, she didn't finance it through a bank or anything. She paid cash for it. Well, she started moving in, and, you know, I went by and questioned her. I was convinced, because whatever I said, she just hadn't, you could tell she had never heard about it. And I told her, you know, this is a commercial area, it's not supposed to be a residential. And she said, I just forgot to leave my money in the bank that I've got. I had nowhere else to go. Uh, We brought it before the planning commission. Yes, you do remember us talking about it here.
Right.
And rather than throw a lady out on the road with nowhere to go, we made an agreement with her. I told her, I said, you're in a floodway, flood zone as well. She said, I don't know nothing about that. Somebody should have told you during the bond process, but that's neither here nor there. And I told her that I talked to the city council, to the planning commission, and the best that we could do was that she could live there until she decided to sell and move out. And then it would not be residential, it would be back commercial. And that's what happened. She sold it to the floodplain. FEMA comes up periodically with places that been flooded numerous times. You don't know how much they're gonna give the city, because everybody else needs the money too. All these tornadoes, typhoons, hurricanes, you know, it's really, but anyway, she followed the process, filled out the paperwork, took what FEMA was willing to pay for that one lot, out belongs to the city. You can never have anything on it, maybe other than picnic table or a barbecue pit. So I don't feel like we've mistreated anybody anywhere up through there. We tried to do what, if it had been my wife or my daughter or my grandmother or somebody, she just was not well informed about what she was finding. And I told her, she said, I got a dog in the cat inside. I sure don't want to lose him. I said, man, you can watch the weather. If the siren goes off, it's either a tornado or a flood. I said, point your front of your car towards the walking trail and be ready to grab you and your cat and your dog and go to high ground immediately. Don't wait here till it gets up halfway to the door. Leave it. It's not worth losing your life. So that's all that's going on wrong out there. Any other questions on that?
On this here, I was in the day, we can turn it in to residential, which is commercial already, which we don't permit that. Because there's no joint in places there.
Let's,
But, tell me what you suggest.
let's,
I know we've got somebody living in it already.
let's prove Mr. Kelly first, that I'd like to have his knowledge of what we're going to do. Mr. Kelly, that handout I gave you, page 7-3. Up there where it says 7-200 C2 general commercial.
Yep.
This district is intended to provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for establishments and businesses engaged in wholesale and retail trade, warehousing and storage, and general service uses. These activities may tend to generate relatively large traffic volumes and have other detrimental effects on residential districts. Care should be taken to reduce the impact of the location of the use of sufficient buffers and other feasible methods. Uses that are permitted in C2, principal permitted uses of structures, retail stores, office, studios, and clinics, finance, insurance, and real estate services, eating and drinking establishments, repair services, commercial recreational uses, churches and mortuaries, gasoline service station, subject to provision of section 4-1800. Animal health facilities including veterinary clinics, hotels, motels, and tourist courts, wholesale warehouse, storage, supply, and distribution not involving outdoor storage lots and yards, service and repair establishments, including automobile repair garages. And Mr. Kelly had an animal health facility. You remember the calls and what was the name of it?
On call for this. And then we have another,
Very, good somewhere. This is on the piece of paper. I read it earlier. And that was fine. That's right along with the guidelines of animal health facilities. All right. Continuing on. Item number 2, permitted accessory uses and structures. Remember this says accessory. Now this first sentence is type twice, so but I'm gonna read through both of them. On the same premises and in conjunction with permitted principal uses and structures, dwelling units for occupancy only by the owners and employees thereof. That means that an owner can live in that building and it still be C2, but it's got to be an owner or an employee that's staying in the building with products. And other uses and structures, and here's where it starts telling you again, dwelling units for occupancy owned by owners and employees thereof, and other uses and structures for customary accessory and clearly incidental to permitted or permissive uses and structures that are not of the nature prohibited under prohibited uses and structures. That's like outdoor storage, such as lawnmowers, drakes, things like that. Moving on to conditional uses. Number 1, outdoor storage lots and yards, except for storage, processing, display, or sale of salvage materials, with provision to protect uses and structures not on premises from adverse effects. Meaning it has to be covered and have walls to keep from the elements. Land development as regulated in chapter 11. Apply to this. Modular or prefabricated dwellings in individual mobile homes, duplex dwelling means, and child care facilities. Under prohibited uses and structures, dwelling units except as provided under permitted accessory use structures and conditional uses. No junkyards or regular yards. As a generic clause, any use which the board of zoning appeals upon appeal and after investigation, similar uses elsewhere shall find to be potentially noxious, dangerous, or offensive to adjacent occupancies in the same or neighboring districts for reason of odor, smoke, noise, glare, fumes, gas, vibration, threat of fire, explosion, or noxious for other reasons to be incompatible with the character of the district. The both regulations don't apply to what we're talking about. Mr. Kelly, this is C2 commercial, which don't include leasing it out or renting it out or buying it and living in it. If you had that structure and had a business in it, and you and or your wife lived in it and had the business at the same time, that's the only option that gives for family living. Is there any questions about what I just read or clarifications? this mask I'm on, I'm trying to talk loud enough that everybody can hear.
I have said all that's commercial, but you can't change part of it. It's cause it all touch.
We can't, it would be like, I'm gonna over exaggerate. There's residential, let's take Mr. Kelly's lot. And over there where Hipperson's is,
It's
you know, for the house or anything else other than commercial. And then down through here, the house that Mr. Berry bought on the corner, that was a house.
yeah, no.
The next parcel of, they've got a house on it. But this has been zoned commercial since we had zoning, which goes all the way back, what, to the late eighties? Somewhere in that area. What that means is, that house can stay there as a house because it was grandfathered in. And if it's ever torn down, another house can't be built there, it's gotta be a commercial area. You can't spot zone, have a commercial area, and then say put a house in the middle of it. Right? If you go back to the first paragraph here, 7200, the district is intended to provide sufficient space and appropriate location for establishments of uses, engaged in wholesale and retail trade, warehousing and storage, and general service uses. And then it tells why. These activities may tend to generate violent, large traffic and have other detrimental effects on the rest of this districts. You know, it'd be like, this is way overkill, but it'd be like your house being next to Walmart. All the traffic, big lights, transport garbage trucks running around, that's overkill, but it's food related, not just the small area we're talking about, the larger town, or even here, next to the industrial park. So just, probably wouldn't be a whole lot of sleep.
Did we ever do a commercial union like this? And do a conditional use? Probably didn't. Or somebody could live there, and when they put live in there, it would pay for work. Did we not do that one?
You can, it is,
Permitted there.
you talk about the residential,
Be on residential, be a commercial place. You can do turn it into a residential or conditional use. For a
not,
certain time period.
not in the center, you could, if it was touching residential, R1, R2, or R3.
Probably not sometimes.
What about,
Let me just finish this question first. It's right next, it's a borderline where it's in the city limits about what I'm thinking about. Go to Crossroads, turn north on 13 north,
Probably done right there for the restaurant. Where the restaurant was, where Will Street Market is, there used to be some trailer in there on the commercial lot. In the residential area. Back years ago, back right. But now when it's down, it turned back in, so.
well, I know that,
But I can't remember, I don't know how we done it, but I thought it was
I
done.
remember a building being there,
So the trailer there.
and then
It was,
it was torn down. The ever increasing floodplains, including the building that they want to sell beer out of.
there was one out there in front. It was a big, big lot, but it'd been years ago, at that one time.
That's, I don't know, but, you know, that's,
my next question is, you said it has to be touching residential property.
you on there,
Do it have to be, he said, it could be classified residential if it was touching residential property.
What it's saying is, can you change it from commercial to residential as long as the residential is touching commercial? I mean, residential.
Well, yeah, but that's not what it happened up here.
Yeah, you know, it can't be too far from the house down underneath. They gotta touch, I mean, the land gotta go up, land gotta go down.
At one time, all of that, even on this street to the top of the hill, was commercial.
But it's not down, it's
Not all of it. And I'll tell you the reason if you want to hear it. From, it's still commercial to the other side of Barry Shelton's, garage. And then you have, you know where Mr. Floyd Bryant used to live? He lived in, the second house past Mr. Shelton's far wall. Mr. Bryant and I went to school together, which didn't have any influence on this. But, he was in bad health. His house needed a lot of work to it. And he come and asked for the low income development for a house, or remodel his house. And it was a residential structure on commercial property. The house past Barry Sheldon's garage, Mr. Floyd's house, on down, including the next house, within second, the third, all those was there when they were grandfathered in. So, you know, what we did, trying to help Mr. Floyd and the others in that area, if they could meet the same criteria, we had went before the zoning, board of zoning appeals, had a public hearing on it. To turn not shelters, it's still commercial. With the others on, to the end of to the bottom of the hill, into residential, where he could be in the running for the low income money. And as it happened, it was FEMA termed it was in floodway and they wouldn't let him do it. And it was because they're in proximity, close proximity. And we did hop, skip, and jump and leave one house there and another. As you can see, this is that area. We made it residential -3. That's residential high density. But you can see, we still have the thing. This R3 is adjacent to an R2. So we did spot zoning because this is there. We just reclassified that. And that's why that circle there is like that. Any other questions?
So what you're saying, this whole square right here is all considered, even the house right here.
Yes.
It's all still commercial.
Yeah.
But then that grandfather,
When that house goes, it goes back to commercial. It still is, it goes
all, the
on.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that for Paul? And you turn Paul, we turn Paul, it's very
Oh, it's still commercial, it's just C1.
good.
So, you know, we did put residential in commercial, we in fact made it more restricted, C1. Mr. Kelly, do you have any questions you want to ask me?
Well, as you know, all I can say is, we can, I couldn't make a business there and come here. We just have a revenue here.
I know,
And our business is.
you might talk a little louder, I'm hard to hear, I could see you moving, but I'm hard to hear.
I said, as you know, as well as I know, our revenue here in Houston County isn't great. And, so that is why I determined it. instead of a business.
I wish you'd have talked to us first.
And picking up, places for rent is not the best around here. You can't hardly find anywhere to live. And that's why we decided to let somebody live there. So that's why I'm here. It's not that, it's not, started out before it's Rice gas station.
I remember that.
And, then it was an install. And we've had, pet salons and, it just hasn't done it, it's just not, if you had that in Dixon or Montgomery County, it would be worth force, but it's just not here. I mean, everybody knows that. So that's all I'm here for. I know it doesn't have anything to do with Aaron, but I did have a house that I changed to commercial for a lawyer in Dover for a period of time, and then we changed it back to residential after he moved out, but I know this is the opposite effect.
The
Only
only,
going from commercial to residential. So it's just that's all I really had to say.
the only thing that I can come back with that is it's not, it's somewhat being residential and then having a workplace at the same time. You should pass it down first. And, this, it sounds like it's part of what you do, but it's not what you did altogether. I'll give away my copy too. Okay. This is, out of the zoning, customary, incidental home occupations. And a customary incidental home occupation is a gainful occupation or profession, including a professional office of an architect, artist, dentist, engineer, lawyer, physician, and the like. Barber, beauty, and tailor shops, or the accommodations of not more than 2 doors conducted by members of a family residing on premises. Skip a line, it's conducted entirely in the principal dwelling. This is not a residential dwelling. In connection with a home occupation, no stock in trade should be displayed outside the dwelling, and no alterations of any building shall indicate from the exterior that the building is being utilized in whole or in part for any purpose other than residential use, including permitted accessory buildings. An announcement sign not more than 4 square feet in the area. So this, you can see it here. It's called a home occupation. You live there, but a small area of your house is a business. You live there, operate the business, don't have anything stored outside, no flashing signs about cold beer and all that kind of stuff. This may be something like, yep, they did for you over there, but it's just spelled out different here. But the kicker is just like before. If you and your wife lived in that, you had a business in it, is acceptable, depending on what product you're selling. But this is a home occupation, do your shop. Or even be a barber shop. So that's all I know to tell y'all about what the zoning book says. I don't know what else I can say, I don't need to discuss options.
Did anybody have any options? Right? You've seen it before.
Well,
is putting spots on it with a, because there is, when it's grandfathered, that when we started this, get spots on it because there is houses that's joined, it's literally joined property, the backside, front side, across the street. We might have the option of spots on it with the conditional use, if it's ever tore down, it falls in the same category as well. It falls right back in.
Yeah, that's what I thought we done on this.
We did that, we did it on the trailer, but on the trailer, if the trailer was removed, it couldn't be another put back. And, you know, it's not much different to make exception for somebody to have a trailer to live in on a lot. The reason why I'm saying it that way, because we got other issues coming up, we're gonna have to deal with these tiny homes, these homes under 1,000 square feet, so we're gonna have to rework a little bit of our guidelines anyway. But, you know, I don't mind making the motion to have it. Technically, I don't think we're spots on it because we're going backwards. We're not taking residential and going forwards. Since we're going backwards with it, I think we could do it and leave the same stipulations. But we call spots on those and leave the same residential.
We're not changing nothing. All you do is conditional use to live there at a rate.
If it ever tore down,
If
it
it's tore down,
it goes back just like these houses here, it goes back to commercial property.
But as long as it's done commercial, and the taxes will be.
Can't hear you, Bill.
I say your taxes still gonna be commercial.
I was at the tax office.
I don't think your
I was
taxes
at the
ever
tax
gonna
office
change.
today. That's where I go to get info. I've got 2 or 3 different kinds of information. Card, they call it. Until it's rezoned residential, it's gonna be, you're still paying
You're still, we're not gonna commercial, you're gonna take taxes.
taxes.
It just be under.
I don't get it.
Well, it's like we're making conditional use,
Just conditional.
not rezoning.
You're not
If
rezoning,
If
that's
it ever-
conditional use for them to live there. I don't care.
it ever burns, tears down, or whatever.
Phil's already told me if you're there for that, you couldn't be back. I understood that. We're just trying to find somebody place to
We're
live.
gonna try and find, well, I get what you're doing, I mean, you got a building sitting there, can't rent it out to work for somebody, but the rental part of what people live in is bigger demand. For people. And I've got all,
Everywhere you go.
We still gonna rent the building, yeah, rent commercial, or just rent to somebody to live out there.
Do we have to, do a zoning appeals board meeting?
Go ahead and say it again.
And have a zoning appeals.
Over here.
And
It's, sometimes it's not easier to get forgiven than to get permission, you know what I'm saying? Just anytime you do anything,
it ain't
think
100%
about
with
it over,
you had the other one, you gotta go back to the one.
ask questions before you get your pocketbook. And I'm sure something could have probably been done, I will guarantee that, you're technically not supposed to spot them.
But
They're the ones that
really
get the
not,
vote.
We're really not spots on
we're
it,
really not spots on it.
technically, we're giving
Yeah,
conditional use.
conditional use on it.
We're not changing, run somebody out of your trailer, but they gotta find somewhere else. If that due time is gonna take 2 weeks. You know,
We won't be able to have the board of zoning appeals and public hearing until February 22nd, which is our next planning commission meeting. I got an Angie this morning and she looked at the calendar by the time I got it in the paper. No, it'll be February 22nd.
Would I have to attend that?
You or your designee. Give something very right.
What was it, February what?
The 22nd.
do I have a motion on what Brian was talking about?
I just got a comment myself on,
It's,
It's not, and that's my brother-in-law. I respect him completely, 100% on it. And that's my brother up there. I have to respect him on me. But we just gotta be careful that you don't set a precedence on doing this every time because
Yeah.
it just comes up, it comes up all the way up and down through there. It's not
I think
information.
If you do it for one,
you gotta do.
other than see it.
And I think that's.
Mr. Carson didn't know. He just know it and done, he didn't know what
But that's
or
what-
how or.
I remember back when we done it down there, it's the same thing, we done it for the fire. And that's where I remember. We
The
won.
trailer or the daycare center?
Um,
Talk about the trailer or the daycare center,
That's right.
not the daycare center.
No, they can't tell me what to do. And they want to put fire inside there. And they will live there. And, so I was like, something. Well, Doug Schroeder was done, and I think it was. But then it was that, but it never could go back, and I think we done some forward with the Lewis. A whole midpoint like that, was right.
You know, it's
That's why it's long time.
just like, I would say, you know, people see things,
Yeah.
they make assumptions. We just don't know how we got to that point, all they know we're in it. We did it for one, we didn't do it.
We got it. Well, we zoned some, very flat, you'll get to them, off the road. And we shot it in to, used to be the little restaurant down there, and we done that, on that. Around a couple years ago, but all kinds of stuff. We opened the door a long time ago. I made a motion, Gary, well, he wants to talk. Get a motion.
What is
Did you just?
Just fill it up. You have to give it a little time on public hearings, at least.
Any vote? All in favor?
We don't think there was a public hearing, we did it, heard on that, we could hear.
I must be yesterday, I don't know.
Yes, I'd like to just bring y'all up to speed on small. I did, I wanted to put, mine last year.
You get with Farrell.
Okay.
That it? Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Y'all take care.
All right, this is not on the agenda, I'm not gonna make it very long, but about, 3 months ago, city secured healthcare wanted to know what the floodplain was. I went to the courthouse, maybe Henry gave it to me. They took it up there and explained to the gentleman, they said you care to. That's all I need, I just want knowledge of it. And then, about Wednesday or Thursday of this last week, this Lisa sent me. This Lisa Moore, pardon me, this Lisa Moore. Called Angie, wanting to, she said she didn't understand something I thought. And I was in the office there, and asked if I would go up there and talk to Lisa, all about the courthouse. And they said, look away, same thing I did. she said that Signature Healthcare is in the process now, like a number of other healthcares across the nation are doing. They call it a pod. Putnam County, Canada, Signature Healthcare is not ready to start digging dirt on there and proceed. And the more I heard, the more I thought it was a good idea if her conditions permitted. And what a pod is tiny houses, 450 square foot, that would house two people. Man, wife, man, wife, two ladies, any combination. And Putnam County, as an example, had, there's single houses or pod, and then there's duplexes that are potted together. And they're all in the same general area. And where they want to put it, it's not in the floodways down, of course, across to Rocky Hollow tributary. It's, up where the existing parking lot is on the front of the building. Where you park, walk, go to the front door. They want to move the parking area somewhere else. And on that high ground, put X number of pods. It's near enough, Liz, that it just got some information on Putnam County, what theirs look like. And it's on this kind of paper. I would have to have a pair of binoculars to see all the fine stuff. But anyway, 450 cubic feet. Putnam County had 12 pods. Two of them was duplexes, not much 4 living quarters, and then 8. They were all mixed together in a small area with separation, between them. And what the target is to find needy people that can't take care of themselves, but they're not serious enough that they need to go to the nursing home. And I thought that was a good idea. My parents had been there and didn't have nowhere else to go, so they got worse, and then they went to the nursing home. But it's not a separate entity. They've got a pretty good sized area up there. We're talking Philip Baggett. They got water that comes through Aldbush Drive. That's where the main comes that supplies the water to the building that's already there. And then from Griffin Bridge. On the other side, that's the city sewage there. They may have to enlarge the lines for drainage or to keep the pressure up. That would be contracted or their cost, not the cities. And rather than I've talked to it, it's no different like a Dave Funeral Home. Use that as an example. The funeral home in Chapel was on the right side, the empty area that's between the funeral home and the telephone office was Dave's too, but it was 2 separate lots. I suggested that them get a surveyor to make it one big lot, where they wouldn't have to make setbacks in the middle, So that's what they did. And nothing hadn't been done yet. It's been talked about numerous times, but they changed their process. Evidently, it's let them do the same without having to build something else at this point in time. But understand that if they made one big parcel, they could put 4 or 5 little things out there. They could put one big thing out there and attach it to the existing chapel. That's what they have. Now think about Signature Healthcare, they've got that whole big lot up there. What they want to do is move the parking area to another location and put them pods there. So it's the same company building the pods. They're gonna lease them out or charge them a fee or whatever. The nurses, the caregivers from the nursing home is gonna take them their dinner every day and their medicine. I just thought it's a grand thing, you know, something that makes sense. They've got the property to do it. We don't, it's, you know, they don't have to come before the planning commission, you know, because it's just like they, you know, start a new chapel, it's just all the structures that be under their care of the on the same parcel of land. Just trying to give y'all a heads up. Don't know when it's gonna happen, if it will happen. But she talked to me about it last week. And the architectural work that needs to be started on. That's all I have to say about that.
Out of curiosity, will each of those four places be individually metered electrical and water, or will it all?
Well, it's a mid-move conservation.
Will each of those places be metered electrically, have separate meters, separate water meters, separate electrical, or?
I don't think so. The water meter for the big buildings, it's not one for every room, you know, or every wing. It's probably one big meter that,
Yeah, but these are separate from the building.
they're so close together, you know, they're not, I feel like
It's just curiosity, a question, that I'd like to know what they were gonna do down the line. No big deal now.
Anything else for me tonight? Or not, I hear no from you.
All right.
All right.
Something.
Are you ready?
I had to leave at 12 today.
You too, man.
Don't have enough places for people to live, so.
They don't take it, I'm short on.